Hello, and welcome to celiac.com news. Subscribe to our channel to get the latest celiac disease and gluten-free diet news. And if you have any questions, be sure to join the celiac.com forum online at celiac.com. And now, let's move on to the latest celiac.com news. Study examines modern versus ancient wheat proteins and their impact on celiac disease and gluten sensitivity. Wheat is a staple food for many people around the world, but for some, it can cause serious health issues. Conditions like celiac disease, non-celiac wheat sensitivity, and Baker's asthma are often triggered by proteins in wheat called amylase inhibitors and trypsin inhibitors, also known as ATIs. These proteins can cause inflammation and other adverse reactions in sensitive individuals. A recent study compared the ATI content and activity in older wheat varieties, landraces, and modern wheat varieties to determine if breeding practices have changed the protein composition of wheat. The findings have important implications for people with wheat-related disorders. Just what exactly are ATIs? ATIs are a group of proteins found in wheat that play a role in the plant's defense system. They inhibit enzymes like amylase and trypsin, which are involved in digestion. While these proteins are harmless to most people, they can trigger immune responses in individuals with conditions like celiac disease or non-celiac wheat sensitivity. For these individuals, consuming wheat can lead to symptoms such as bloating, fatigue, and digestive issues. Over the years, there has been speculation that modern wheat breeding practices might have increased the levels of ATIs, making wheat less tolerable for people with sensitivities. Some have suggested that older wheat varieties, landraces, might be safer because they were not subjected to the same breeding techniques. This study aimed to test these claims by comparing the ATI content and activity in landraces and modern wheat varieties. Now we will address the key findings of the study. The study analyzed 14 landraces, which are ancient wheat varieties, and 6 modern wheat varieties over 3 consecutive years. Researchers measured the total ATI content and the proportion of ATIs relative to crude protein. The results showed no significant differences between landraces and modern varieties. Both groups had similar levels of ATIs, with landraces averaging 7.1% ATI content and modern varieties averaging 7.5%. The study also measured the inhibitory activity of ATIs against an enzyme called alpha-amylase, which is found in human saliva. Again, there were no significant differences between landraces and modern varieties. Both groups showed similar levels of inhibitory activity, indicating that the biological effects of ATIs have not changed significantly over time. The researchers examined the distribution of individual ATIs within the total ATI content. They found that the composition of ATIs was very similar in both landraces and modern varieties. For example, a protein called 0.19 made up about 31% of the total ATI content in both groups. Other ATIs, such as CM3 and CM17, also showed similar distributions. One interesting finding was that the harvest year had a greater impact on ATI content than the type of wheat. In 2022, both landraces and modern varieties had higher ATI levels compared to 2021 and 2023. This suggests that environmental conditions, such as weather or soil quality, may influence ATI content more than genetic factors. The study found no evidence to support the claim that modern wheat varieties have higher levels of ATIs or are more likely to trigger adverse reactions. Both landraces and modern varieties had similar ATI content and activity, meaning that switching to older wheat varieties is unlikely to provide relief for people with wheat-related disorders. For individuals with celiac disease or severe gluten sensitivity, the key takeaway is that all wheat, whether old or new, contains ATIs that can cause problems. This underscores the importance of avoiding cross-contamination and ensuring that gluten-free foods are prepared in dedicated environments. While the study did not find significant differences between landraces and modern varieties, it did identify a few individual varieties with lower ATI content or activity. These varieties could be promising candidates for future breeding programs aimed at developing wheat that is safer for people with sensitivities. This study provides valuable insights into the composition of wheat and its impact on people with wheat-related disorders. By showing that ATI content and activity have not changed significantly over time, the research challenges the notion that modern wheat is inherently worse for health. For individuals with celiac disease or non-celiac wheat sensitivity, the findings emphasize the need for continued vigilance in managing their diets and avoiding cross-contamination. Ultimately, this study highlights the importance of ongoing research to better understand the complex relationship between wheat proteins and human health. By identifying wheat varieties with lower ATI content, scientists may one day develop safer options for those who struggle with wheat-related disorders. Until then, the focus remains on education, awareness, and ensuring that food preparation practices meet the needs of sensitive individuals. To get the latest celiac disease news and information, be sure to subscribe to celiac.com news. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next time.